Well, good evening, guys, and welcome back to Watches and Wheels YouTube channel. I've got something very special to show you tonight. This is a watch I just finished for a customer, and it is going back to Australia tomorrow, so I figured I'd better get a video made of it so you guys can get a real good look at what a beautiful, unrestored original Citizen Speedy looks like with a white dial. Now, I have done at least 50 of these for customers all over the world, and a few customers that are in Australia, and this happens to be going back to Australia. The man that owns this watch inherited it, and it is a excellent original condition survivor Speedy. Like automobiles, people seem to be trending towards buying original and unrestored, and this is a classic example of that. Same applies in the watch world. You want the finest example that's not been cobbled and hacked and butchered and chewed and damaged and oiled and, just hacked. But this will give you an idea of what an original example looks like. And it's not perfect. But I'll tell you something, I get at least 4 emails a month from guys all over the world looking to buy these. Then they made these in a black dialed version also, which is sitting right there. I'll show you that in a minute. But to give you an idea of when you really have to really compare something that is really crappy. Here's an example of crappy. Look at this thing. This is my own personal watch that is going to be turned into a Speedy Mon. And if you don't know what a Speedy Mon is, well, we'll be getting to that. But this is just a wreck. It's just a wreck. But it is original and unrestored. Wreck. It needs everything. But I have all the parts saved to fix this. Look, the hand even fell off. The movement rattles around in there. But this is not going to be using a original dial. Here's one from a customer that is in the process of getting restored. This dial is not too bad a shape. Unfortunately, you can look and see that someone had painted the hands and then it pushed the hand down too far and it scrapes the dial. This is the kind of crap I got to deal with, Since there's not a lot of these in real nice condition, the prices have gone up way over $1,000 for a nice example. So I have guys all over the world sending me these things in boxes and parts and everything they can collect, so I can build them a nice example, because it is very hard to come up with an example like this one. This is what all the guys are chasing. And the man that owns this is very fortunate, because there was not anything wrong with it, literally, other than it just had never been, I don't think it ever been serviced or anything. So this watch got all taken apart, fully overhauled, precision timed, with all new gaskets, cleaned, and put back together with my spec crystal. And if you just look at that dial, I mean, oh my God, it's just absolutely flawless. So many of these watches get damaged dials. They're all yellowed and damaged from just, people that just don't care. So a lot of my customers are sending me this kind of stuff in parts and pieces and boxes and stuff like that, just so I can build them a nice one. And you also might be preferenced to a black dial, which Citizen also will fancy you with a black dial. This happens to be one of my customers also that's going to get the full treatment. But how cool is that? And there are guys that are collecting these seriously, and they want one of each. But that's just so cool. I really can't decide which one I like better. The white ones are more unicorn, because trying to find one with a beautiful dial. Most of these are all damaged and scratched, and as you can see from these other examples, it's just hard to find anything decent. And the ones that are decent, guys are killing each other, paying top dollar for them. But hot dog, This one here just didn't gain anything except a new crystal. And as you look at the serial number right there, you'll see a 708. And the 8 is August, and the 7 is 1977. And what's nice about this one is no one damaged the case back trying to take a tool, and they always scratch this real bad and chew all these up and damage this area. All hackers. I'm going to tell you something about watches. that watches, the problem with watches that are all damaged and broken are not because of the owner, it's because of the guy working on them. There are so many wannabes and hacks and botch makers and hobbyists that get their hands in these things, eBayers that just try to get them all together for sale. And then, you just got to go through, just some of the stuff. When I was an auto mechanic, I've seen some hacking in my day, but never, ever seen the kind of butchery and hackery that goes on in wristwatches. There's just so few skilled craftsmen like myself out there in the world doing it. And these are a watch that I became famous for because I specialize in these specifically. If you go to Sweephand's blog, he is a fine bloke over there in the UK who publishes my work, and he has just a large amount of vintage citizen content that you can go and look at. And I don't know, it depends on everybody's different, Some people like watches and some people like cars, but here on this channel we do both here. But the nice thing about working on a watch like this is that no one had been in here screwing things up, so I don't have so much work I gotta do. When you get into something like this basket case, and just for the video, I'll just unscrew the back here and I'll just give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Watch comes to me, you take it apart, you're like, oh god, what am I gonna find when I open this up? Oh man, look at that. Just laying in there. No movement holder. Nothing. Stem fell out, buttons missing off it, rotor's all wonked up. But that's what the movement looks like inside. Just a fantastic piece of mastery there by a Japanese watch company that not as popular as Seiko's, but in my personal opinion makes a better watch. And that is to be debated, but I can speak for that because I've worked on lots of Seiko's. Citizen just takes it to the next level and just does a much finer job with engineering and creating parts that last a long time. So this is the kind of crap that I got to deal with. But that's my job. I'm not complaining. It's just that this is the kind of stuff you find. This is the kind of things that you have to deal with as a watchmaker. You just don't get, perfect watches that come in there, and it's not easy when you're a specialist like me restoring watches. You have to be, willing to take this kind of stuff on, and you're going to take something that looks like that and turn it into a masterpiece. And it takes a lot of time. And even this one, this is going to require a lot of work. Hopefully I can straighten this out and make it look as nice as it can, because the man that owns this watch, I did a black one for him not that long ago, and he just had to have a white dial. And if you're shopping for these things, there's just so few of them on the market that are nice. Everything's just been all cobbled and hacked up. And look at those hands. Painted black, and then he pushed it on too far, and look at it, just started to damage the dial. This dial is actually pretty decent, but what are you going to do? You're looking at something like that, and then you take this beauty in your hands and you're just like, wow, sign me up. And that's the thing, if this were my watch and I were to put it on the market, it'd sell fast. A lot of what's left of these watches that are coming up for sale are on Bai, which is a Japanese kind of like eBay thing. And the ones that are in Japan, boy, the guys are bidding them up. It's just getting out of control. Because they're every bit as nice a quality as Omega, which, if you've ever heard of Omega Speedmaster, you know that Citizen kind of took the idea from that in the 70s and made their own versions. And like I said, I just can't decide which one I like better. So I'm just curious, which one you think is the nicer one if you were to choose one or the other as far as a watch to wear. I kind of like the black because it looks sporty and the orange tip is neat, and the way the black and the silver contrast, I think it's a little easier to read myself personally. But boy, the white dials, man, these guys they gotta have them. So if you're not into watches and you like to read some interesting things on vintage Citizens, heck, you might even become interested in watches just by that, go visit Sweephand's blog. There you'll find all kinds of stuff there. I mean, the man has got content there that will just blow your mind. In the world, he has the most Citizen content for vintage of all kinds of things. You just wouldn't believe some of the stuff that's there. And that's the thing, people have heard of Citizen watches, but they don't even know half the really cool shit they made back in the 70s, the 60s. But hot dog, huh? So I just wanted to take the time and make this video and show this to you, because it's very rare that I get watches that are this beautiful. Just rare. I've seen some nice ones. I've handled many of these. Like I said, probably more than 50 of them. And once in a while, this unicorn comes along and you're just like, look at this thing. This is the kind of watch I wish I could have. Nice and heavy, lots of quality. The Japanese know how to make good stuff, that's for sure. So, anyway. Oh, but you know what, this is another thing too. This is Gail's favorite. Gail's looked through my collection of Citizens, and she just is fond of the white dial. She just really likes this watch. So maybe down the road I might try to find one of these for her and restore it for her and give her one, because she's worth it. Anyway, alright, well, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a nice evening, and hey, if you like watch content and car content, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button for me. And in the meantime, have a good night.